all day long. You are welcome. You're welcome. It's Monday. Let's get this week started off the right way. We're going to start it off with, well, a brand new episode of Student of the Gun Radio. You are welcome. What are we going to talk about today? We've got a Duracoat firearm feature that we're going to get into. And it's very near and dear to my heart, and maybe it'll be near and dear to your heart in the future. In case you haven't been paying attention, a judge overturned the California assault weapons ban, but hang on, don't order the cake yet. Don't blow up the balloons yet, because it's California. Remember when the judge overturned the California magazine ban? And everyone's like, yay! Can you buy standard capacity magazines in California today? No. But that was last year. Hang on a second. Jared, was that last year that the judge overturned the magazine ban? I think it was.
Time flies. It might have been 2 years ago.
Might have been. So a judge said, hey, no, that's a violation of the Second Amendment. You can't do that. And yet, it seems like they're still doing it. So we're gonna, and then of course we're gonna talk about California's the tyrannical government's response to the Constitution and what they think about it, and then of course anything else that we
funded by your tax dollars.
Funded by your tax dollars. That's right. And then anything else that is that we want to talk about, all on today's episode of Student of the Gun Radio.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, please welcome your host, the Pimp Hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
That is right. That is right. I am the Pimp Hand of America. It's not a job I was looking for, but it was a job I accepted because I knew it needed to be done. Yeah, I'm waiting for that time when someone, maybe they have already, and I just haven't seen the message. When I'm on the Xbox Live, and someone jumps in there like, is this? Because I've got a little handle on Xbox Live, and if you pay attention to it, then you would immediately realize who it was that you were playing against.
Magazine ban was in August of 2020, so it was last year.
Yeah, not even. So I got a question for all of you behind the lines, fighting the good fight. All of you guys that are behind enemy lines, fighting the good fight for freedom and liberty in California. How's that recall effort going?
I haven't heard anything about it.
Hang on a second. I think I heard it. How's that recall effort going? No, it's going well. It's Jared. You know what it reminds me of?
I just Googled this. Hold on.
What's that?
California, and this is the title of the article. I haven't read the entire thing yet, but California recall that could oust Governor Newsom projected to cost the state $215 million.
How?
Also funded by your money, taxpayer money.
So it's going to cost $215 million for the tyrant to fight it?
Yeah. That's what I'm reading right now. I'll drop this in there since we're talking about it anyway. Preliminary projection from the state finance department comes about a month after a coalition of county officials urged the legislature to provide funding to cover those costs, warning that they otherwise would stain local budgets already stretched thin by the coronavirus pandemic.
Not stain, but okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Strain, you get it.
But we don't want to talk about that just yet. Just yet, we're not going to talk about that. Do you want to talk about the Duracoat firearm featured firearm of the week right now, or do you have anything else to say? Zach, how about you? Do you have anything else that needs to be brought up before that?
I do not.
Zach says no. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to going to throw you guys a curveball, but I'll tell you what that curveball is after Zach bumps us in. All right. I have a confession to make. The gun in my hand.
Now that song's stuck in my head too.
I got something to say. I did not Duracoat this gun yet. Oh, well, then why are we talking about it? Well, because I markled it up. This gun has been markled up, and if you're looking at the video, you will see. You'll probably recognize it. If you look right here, you recognize the action. You're like, that looks like a lot like a Ruger 1022. That's because that's what it is. But it's not just a Ruger 1022. It is a Ruger 1022 that has a side folding. I'm going to attempt to do radio magic by opening this and not whacking my microphone at the same time. All right. So
it's a good thing these are good microphones.
Oh. Aha! Boom. Bing, bang, boom. All right. So I'm living the gangster life here. So I've got a Ruger 1022 that is in a Samson manufacturing. You're like, where did you get that freaking stock from? And I have to have one. I got it from a company called Samson Manufacturing. This is not the first time I've mentioned them. I have mentioned them in the past quite often.
Quick aside, if you're new to the podcast and you're listening on Apple or iHeartRadio or whatever podcast player, we do have a video version of this that airs publicly on all of our social media and our Full 30 channel. It's full30.com/studentofthegun. You can get there and watch. If you can't see this right now, you can go there after the fact and watch it.
If you're just playing the theater of the mind thing, then you do that.
Yeah, or you could just have a really good imagination.
That's right. So, let me see. How old am I? It's easy for me to know how long I've been buying guns because I bought my first one on my 18th birthday. On my 18th birthday, I marched into the gun shop with cash in my pocket, and I bought a Ruger 1022 rifle.
So you've been buying guns for 20 years then?
Yeah. Wink, wink, nod, nod. So yeah. My every birthday I have is also the anniversary of the day that I bought my first gun, at least going forward from age 18. I brought a Ruger 1022, and back then they were actually a relatively new gun. If you can imagine that, you're like, the 1022 has been around forever. Well, not necessarily forever. I hadn't been around forever. But recently, I was in my garage, or in my shop, my workshop, I guess, and I was looking at my stock basic factories. If you go to the Ruger website, they have probably neighboring in the 15 to 20 variations of the 1022 on their website now. They have like Talo exclusives. They have, they have the ones. There's all kinds. If you have the time, you go to Ruger.com and look it up. They have all kinds of models, starting from the base model, which is what I bought, all those years back. The wooden stock, blue finish base model. That's it. 10-round rotary magazine. No thrills, no frills, nothing special, just stock gun. And, what's been going on? Well, we've had a guns and ammo crisis. We've had ammunition skyrocket and all that. I don't really need to buy any new guns. But I do have plenty of 22 ammo, and I have for years and years and years and years. So I thought it's time to actually do something with a 22. I will admit to you guys that I haven't spent as much time with a 22 in my hand as I used to. I kind of went through phases. When I was young, that's the gateway drug, because when you're a teenager, well, that's all you can get, right? So, or that's all you can afford is 22s. Then I kind of got away from it as I got older, got in the Marine Corps. I got interested in handguns and bigger caliber rifles and all that stuff. But then I had kids, And so after I had my kids, it was time to mess with 22s again, right? I introduced all my children to shooting with a 22 rifle. Most of them were introduced with a single shot bolt action 22 rifle. And then
the one with the little thing on the back that you pull out.
The back that you have to remember to pull out so it goes bang. Yep. The Henry mini bolt and then the Henry maxi bolt, the larger version. And then of course, when they got excited and really wanted to shoot more, I let them shoot the 1022s and so on and so forth.
Fun fact.
What's
the
that?
1022 carbine first appeared in the 1965 Ruger firearms price sheets.
Wow.
So that was when it was first released.
5 price sheets. So it wasn't that new. It was new to me. I
mean, in the world of firearms, that's still relatively new.
Yeah. It's not like the 870 that's been around for 100 years.
Yeah, you look at the Stoner design, and that's been around for freaking ever.
Yeah, you're like, oh, that's relatively new. Relatively as in 60 years? You're like, what? Yeah. Oh, well, never mind. So I remembered. Get to the point. You're not doing anything.
That's why people listen to podcasts.
You just got your earbuds in and you're farting around. So let me tell my story. I remembered when, before the last SHOT Show that they had before they canceled it. Zach and I were in Vegas and shot 2020, January of 2020. And we went by the Samson booth and they were teasing because they had 2 new stocks. They had the A-TM, which is A team. And then they had the B-TM, which is B team. So the A team stock was actually a silver side folding steel brace, not brace. I don't have brace on the brain. Stock is actually a stock for the Ruger Mini 14. And those of you guys who are long in the tooth like me remember the A-Team television show that ran from 1983 to 1986, and they almost exclusively used the Ruger Mini 14 with a silver side-folding stock, and most of the time they were just hanging out of the side of a van with the stock folded, shooting the street, because they never hit anyone, ever. Because on 1980s TV, you couldn't let the good guys actually put bullets into people. They shot all around them, and then eventually the bad guys gave up. It was retarded. But the Ruger Mini 14 was sexy on TV, and Samson said, we're gonna reinvigorate that. We're gonna actually create a hardwood stock with a polymer plastic grip and a steel, because Samson's big into steel and aluminium. So they did. Of course, what happened, Jared? What happened? We had the 2020 SHOT Show in January, and then boom, the freaking floor fell out from underneath us, right? So Samson really didn't get ramped up into producing and selling these stocks until this year. Well, I don't have a Mini 14, but I've got a 1022. So I went to the Samson catalog and their website, and I saw that they not only had the stocks in stock, but they had the accessory packages. I'm going to hold it right up here for the camera to see. Is there a flash hider on the end of your 1022? Yes, there is. You don't need a flash hider for it. Shut up. It's fun. Okay? It's fun. And if you look right here, you'll see that you're like, that doesn't look like a stock sight. No, it's not. They have a B team or a B-TM, a B team sight set. So it is a rear and front adjustable sight set. If you know anything about the Ruger 1022, the stock sights that come on it they're functional. Okay. They're functional. Now the rear sight is technically, it's elevation adjustable, but it has these itty bitty whittle tiny screws in there. And quite frankly, while the sights are functional, they're not great. They're okay. I guess that's the answer, is they're okay. But if they're not right on, you kind of have to fart with them, tap them. You can adjust the elevation, but you can't adjust the windage. So if they're off on windage, then you have to tap and move around and so forth. Well, with the B-team sights, the rear sight mounts directly to the receiver, right onto the receiver of the Ruger 1022, because the 1022 receiver is already tapped. So you just mount it right there. The front sight you actually have to replace. You tap out the original one, and then you put in the Samson version. And tapping it out's not that hard. You just have to follow the directions. And they tell you to tap left to right. And then when you install the one, you install it right to left, and so on and so forth. This gun's a lot of fun. I took it out. I fired a couple hundred rounds through it. And it's just what it's supposed to be. It's just supposed to be fun. And that's what it is. It is a fun 22 rifle.
It's funny. The other day, I don't have the leisure of living out in the wide open nowheres. I have neighbors. I'm in the suburbs. I have neighbors pretty close to me. Well, there was a vole in my backyard digging out the fresh grass that's growing, brand new grass. And I was standing there at the back door, and I was like, "Ooh, I need to go get my 22. I have an AR-15 22 conversion kit, and so that's what's in there right now, because that's what I've been shooting, my 22 bullets through my AR-15. I was like, I need to go get that. I'm going to shoot that sucker. It would have been totally safe. There was nothing behind. It was just straight down, into my backyard from my balcony. However, I have neighbors in the back that could probably see what I'm doing. And so I thought, I was like, dang it. It's just funny what runs through your head. You're like, I'm going to shoot that person, that thing. And I just went to the Bobcat button. I was like, I'm going to shoot that sucker. And but anyway, so I thought about that. I was like, dang it. So I went and got my pellet pistol, and I got the sucker. So it's not there anymore. It's not ruining my grass anymore. But I couldn't do what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And for that kind of a neighborhood problem, a 22 or a 177 pellet rifle, they still make them. Although they're kind of expensive now because they're special. When I was younger, lots of kids wanted pellet guns. So there was a lot of companies making them. So there was a lot of competition. So the price was down. Now kids don't want them so much, and they're not as popular. So finding a good pneumatic pellet gun is probably going to cost you a pretty good amount of money. But yeah.
Ruger Blackhawk 177 pellet gun air rifle is $120.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
So anyway,
comes with scope. It's a high quality scope.
I'm sure. You guys, I love the. Well, I don't need to zero it. It already came with the scope, and they zeroed it in the factory. Oh, they did. Good for them. But long story short, and you say, well, why did you do this for the Duracoat finished firearm? Well, it's because let's just call it a featured firearm. How's that sound? I wanted to talk about it. It's my latest project. We put some pictures up on social media of it, and it's just fun. That's all it is. It's not tactical. I guess you could do tactical stuff with it, but it
does have a black barrel on it.
It does have a flash hider, and it is black. So the barrel band, that if you guys know what a barrel band is on a Ruger, the barrel band that's on it, actually, this is the Samson version. And it has a QD socket in it. Now, there's no QD sockets in the folding stock, obviously, but there's a QD socket. If you just wanted to throw one of these on your regular gun and put a QD socket on there, you could throw one on the back. I don't know. If you're interested in that, go to Samson Manufacturing's website. I think it's, what is it? Samson
MFG.com, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Samson MFG. So,
nope, that's not it.
It's not Samson MFG.
I'm finding
Samson
it right now.
dash MF&G.
Samson-MFG.com. There we go.
-MFG.com. Yeah. What does MFG stands for? Mother Fletching Guns. It stands for Mother Fletcher. Yeah, that's right. That's right, biatches. Yeah, tell them, if you go there, tell them Student of the Gun sent you. But there's nowhere to tell them that. Well, whatever.
For those of you that can't pick up sarcasm from Professor Paul, it stands for manufacturing.
Yeah, like
Next thing we know, we're going to get a call from the dude at Samson. He's like, it doesn't stand for MF guns, okay?
that's not it at all. That's not it at all. What are you talking about? Oh man. But if you want to have some fun, just they've got a bunch of accessories for not just Ruger 1022s, but all kinds of stuff. So there you go. Check them out. And of course, check out our good friends at Duracoat Firearm Finishes, studentofthegun.com/Duracoat. If you want to go to Duracoat University, I would highly recommend that if you are a gun fixer, if your job is to be a gun fixer, and you want to offer your clients another service and put some cash into your bank account by offering that service, well, go to Duracoat University, get your certification, hang your shingle out, and do cool stuff, and people will like it, and they will show their friends, and they will come back to you over and over and over again. That's pretty much how that works. All right. You carrying your gun? Good. If you're not, why not? Well, because my holster's not comfortable and I can't wear it all the time, so I don't. All right. Go to crossbreedholsters.com. They will sell you the most comfortable, highest quality, inside of the waistband holster you're ever going to buy. Put the gun on, carry it, live your life, and then it's going to be there when you need it. And because they like you and we like them and they like us and we're just all having a big happy group hug, use the promo code SOTG. When you go to order from Crossbreed Holsters, use that promo code. That way they know that you're paying attention. How do we know that these students of the gun people are actually paying attention? Well, if you just type in 4 little letters, SOTG, then they know. I know. All right. And last but certainly not least, Brownells at brownells.com. If you go to brownells.com, you can sign up for their newsletter, or you can just text BRN to 556-223. And if you do that, they will send you instant notifications when products are available.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but I believe that Henry and Brownells have partnered to help a nonprofit, and it's an exclusive promotion, I guess, collaboration between Brownells and Henry. That I think that's like the first 50 rifles or something are available on brownells.com exclusively. I can't remember the full details, but go to brownells.com. And the reason I got that is because I was signed up for the Brownells newsletter.
So. I saw that press release too. Yeah, they partner with Henry. Henry firearms are, they're good people. They're good guns. They're good people. So check those guys out. And there's a whole slew, ironically enough, coincidentally enough, there is a whole slew of Samson parts and accessories available from brownells.com.
Woo.
There you go. So if you don't want to order it from Samson, if you want to order it from Brownells, then you can do that. We will let you. You are allowed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, you are.
I have a quick question.
What's that?
I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's more of an admin note, but it's kind of interesting. Did you look at the SEO, like what Google says is important for questions on the 1022?
What? No. What are important for
one of the important questions that Google says is important is, can a 22 LR penetrate human skull?
Well, there you go.
Can a subsonic 22 kill? Like, what are people searching that these are the important questions?
I'm kind of weird about that. You know.
Can I use super cheap ammunition as home defense? Is what I would like to think it is.
Yeah. Can I use the Remington Thunderbolt?
Oh, this is a good one. What's the difference between a Ruger 1022 and a Ruger 1022 takedown?
The title.
The title.
Title?
The year of release.
What?
Do Navy SEALs use 22 LR? There's a good one for you.
Well, there you go.
All right, you can continue. I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, they do actually. Navy SEALs use everything. They use the perfect push-up machine to get strong.
That's how they get so strong.
Machine to get strong. No, they use roids. That's what they do. They don't use roids. Okay, sure they don't. Sure they don't. Oh man, Zach, do you have that button ready for the new listeners?
Attention new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong. But you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
Bam. So according to the Ruger website, they have 8 basic configurations of the 1022. And in addition to the 8 basic configurations, they have a tactical version, a takedown version, a takedown light, a target, a competition, a sporter, a compact, and the carbine. But then if you click on it, then you'll find that they also have distributor exclusives, such as the red, white, and blue American flag exclusive. They have the shooting store distributors. It's easy for me to say. The shooting store distributor exclusive. They have Lipsy's exclusive, Talo exclusives. They have a Talo exclusive version that looks like it has a stock. It makes it look like it's an M1 carbine, which is actually really kind of cool. It has that cut, that loop hole in the stock for you to put your sling in. And then it also has the adjustable sights like the B team does. Yeah, just have some fun, man. Just go out and have some fun.
I just had a realization.
What's that?
My realization is I know why dumb gun things are just spread. They don't die.
They're like a plague.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the sites that are answering these questions. The majority of them have nothing to do. They're not gun experts. It's like news agencies or Wikipedia. It's like, I figured it out. And there's some of them in here are like Field and Stream, which is probably a good one. Shooting Illustrated is a good one. But the majority of the sites that Google pulls for the answers to these questions are like not gun experts. It's sad.
No. Yeah, I was watching a TV show last night.
Quora. Good Lord.
Quora. And they were doing it. There was a bunch of bad guys with rifles on this mansion, and they had kidnapped somebody, and the good guy had to sneak into the mansion. You know, the stereotypical thing.
Yeah.
And what was really cool was they were all carrying AR 180s.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they were carrying AR 180s, right? And they panned through the shot of the bad guys standing around the mansion, and like 1 or 2 of them had guns with no magazines in them. And I caught it immediately. I was like, that gun to make more noise if you put a magazine in it.
They must have been the Army National Guard.
Yeah, they put their hands in their pockets, standing behind a cone. Remember that? That basically could sum up. If you wanted to sum up 2020 in one photograph, it would be the chubby National Guard kid standing behind a cone with his hands in his pockets. This is me. I'm here, not doing anything. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do if I was, but here I am. Oh, that's mean, Paul. Remember when we shared that and people attacked me? How dare you attack a a warrior in uniform like that. I'm like, I didn't attack anybody. I just shared the photo. Well, you shouldn't even shared it. So you don't want to see reality? You got a chubby kid in a camouflage uniform standing behind an orange cone it was at a pier or someplace in California to keep people from going on the beach during the Rona. Because that was actually the greatest spreader of the Rona, was walking alone by yourself in the sunlight in fresh air on a beach. You can't be allowed to do that. You say, Paul, come on, why are you bagging on California? They really, 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 really care. Sure they do. All right, Jared, read the first story, which was followed up immediately by the second story.
Federal judge overturns California's 32-year assault weapons ban. What did the judge was it in New York? He said it doesn't matter if you've gotten away with it for this long. It still doesn't make it okay.
Breaking the law for a long time doesn't make it all right.
The judge said the ban was a failed experiment. California's governor called the ruling a direct threat to public safety.
Yeah, because right now there are no murders. There's no gang activity. There are no murders in California.
It's a paradise. June 5th.
Didn't the last mass shooting in America happen in California? The mass murder? Oh, it did.
Well, they happen every day, though, remember.
But we're not supposed to talk about that because it didn't fit the narrative, because despite all the restrictions on everything, somebody still went schizo and murdered innocent, unarmed people.
I'm looking at this. It says the picture here, the caption says 3 variations of the AR-15 rifle are displayed. The only difference, it seems, is the muzzle device. That's crazy. Anyway, June 5th, 2021, a federal judge in California on Friday overturned the state's 3-decade-old assault weapons ban, which he called a failed experiment, prompting a sharp retort from the state's governor.
The tyrant in chief.
Yeah. California prohibited the sale of assault weapons in 1989. The law was challenged in a suit filed in 2019 against the state attorney general by plaintiffs, including James Miller, a California resident, and the San Diego County Gun Owners, a political action committee. The judge, Roger T. Benitez of the U.S. District Court. This sounds like a name from Nicholas Orr. Yeah, the books. The judge, your buddy's book, the Roger Benitez. Anyway, the judge, Roger T. Benitez of the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of California, wrote that sections of the state's penal code that defined assault weapons and restricted their use were hereby declared unconstitutional and shall be enjoined.
That sounds to me like a pretty serious statement, right? So the judge says they are declared, I have declared this law to be unconstitutional and they shall be enjoined. That means they're no longer enforceable.
Yeah.
You guys get that, right?
Oh, but the Constitution was written like over 100 years ago.
Like a long time ago. That's like saying
like the beginning of humanity.
Like the prohibition against murder was written a long time ago. So, I mean, things have changed today. You know, that like thou shalt not murder and stuff. That's the thousands of years ago. Okay. But the judge said he granted a
30-day stay of the ruling at the request of Attorney General Rob Bonta, a move that would allow Mr. Bonta to appeal it.
Why?
That's a good question.
Why would you do that?
Judge Benitez wrote that the case was about what should be a muscular constitutional right and whether a state can force a gun policy choice that impinges on the right with a 30-year-old failed experiment. It should be an easy question and answer, Judge Benitez, who was nominated by former President George W. Bush, continued. Government is not free to impose its own new policy choices on American citizens where constitutional rights are concerned. The judge
Highlight that crap.
Yeah. The judge wrote that the firearms banned under the state's law were not bazookas, howitzers, or machine guns, but rather fairly ordinary popular modern rifles. Even if they were bazookas, howitzers, and machine guns. I'm pretty sure that the Second Amendment does not clarify, but whatever.
Oh, citizens never own cannons in America. Shut up.
Oh, that's funny.
Actually, they did.
Yeah. Statement late Friday, Governor Gavin Newsom, oh, he's boring me already, called the ruling a direct threat to public safety and the lives of innocent Californians.
Right.
Why? I don't understand. Whatever. Mr. Newsom also criticized the opening lines of Judge Benita's decision, in which he wrote that, like a Swiss Army knife, the AR-15 assault rifle is a perfect combination of home defense weapon and homeland defense equipment.
It is. How is it not?
The AR-15 re-entered the... Oh, this is just stuff about the AR-15. Re-entered the American gun market in 2004 after the end of a federal assault weapons ban. Was it really?
Yeah, well, see,
I was 14 years old at that point in time.
Yeah. The 94 to 2004, it re-entered, but they never kind of went away, Jared. This is what people don't understand is, first of all, you had the grandfather clause, which is ex post facto, which means, and if you guys don't know what ex post facto is, it means that the government can't just take something you have been doing and say, oh, we're going to arrest you for it now because we changed our mind because it violates ex post facto. But you could have what they called featureless. Like there were certain things that you couldn't have. You couldn't have a muzzle device on it, right? You couldn't have a flash hider or whatever.
I was going to say, I seem to remember
have a 10-round magazine and crap like that. But regardless, it is true that after that 10 years, people went crazy and started buying black rifles because Americans wanted them. See, that's the thing that liberals never understand is you can't, if the people want something badly enough, they're going to find a way to get it, no matter what your law says. Right? Well, no, that's not true at all. Yes, it's absolutely true. It's an absolute fact. All right. Look at the war on drugs. The war on drugs is not going to be won by more laws. The war on drugs is going to be won by education and well, basically convincing people not to be pieces of crap and doping themselves up and laying on the daggum street. But the fact is, when people really, really want something, they're going to find a way to get it, regardless of what your law says. But anyway, go on.
Meatball pizza, yummy.
You want
it's an ad. So this next sentence, it stems directly into the next story, so I'll just transition into there.
Okay,
so in a separate statement, Mr. Bonta called Judge Benita's decision fundamentally flawed and vowed to appeal it.
Yeah, because you can't just allow citizens to have the rights that were codified in the Constitution.
Yeah, from my understanding, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights are fundamental rights. So how is the decision to uphold those rights fundamentally flawed?
Yeah, upholding constitutional rights is fundamentally flawed because, see, this is the supreme arrogance of liberal Democrats, especially in California. They go to sleep and wake up every day assured that they are better than, smarter than, and more entitled than you. Those founding fathers and that Constitution stuff, yeah, it's fine, but our policies are way more important. Our emotionally based policies, because let's face facts. Gun control is based upon emotion, not fact. Because as demonstrated in the book Examining the Armed Citizen by Paul Markle, gun control is an absolute and complete failure when it comes to stopping criminals or terrorists. The only people that are inhibited by gun control laws are people who were not inclined to break the law in the first place. The only people who are hindered or hampered by gun control laws are the people who already were willing to obey the law. Criminals and terrorists don't give a crap. I could say crap, right? No, I just can't say shit. They don't give a shiite about your gun control laws. When a liberal Democrat, Li Ling-yi, conspires with Chinese gang members to import rocket launchers into the United States of America, that is the failure of your gun control. What are you talking about, Paul? That never happened. That absolutely happened. And you know that scumbag is already up for parole? Now, if he was a white male and he had a gun that didn't have the right kind of, he had a prohibited gun, that dude probably been buried under a California prison. But a liberal Democrat, you could look that up. Remember last time we talked about that and we said, can you believe this mother Fletcher who conspired, a public official who conspired with Chinese gang members to import real, genuine military rifles and rocket launchers? What did Ri Ren-yi get? Like 5 years or something?
Didn't he get a bunch of votes while he was in prison?
Yeah. He got like 300,000 votes while he was in prison awaiting trial. Yeah. Ri Ren-yi, convicted in 2015 corruption scandal. No fargan way.
Huh.
He was released this last summer.
Yeah, that would have been 5 years.
So a liberal California Democrat, and here's the sad thing, Jared. During these press conferences with this, what's this dude's name, Bogota or something?
Bonta.
Not one reporter has the guts or the balls to raise their hand and say, would you care to comment on Li Ling-yi's? You've got the people of America, or California, not America, because California's not America. The people of California aren't allowed to own a blank, right? And what happens if somebody gets caught with what's legal in the whole rest of the country in California? Oh, well, there's a penalty and say, but if I was a liberal Democrat politician, I could take millions of dollars in bribes and bring in machine guns for Chinese, and that'd be do you guys understand? What did we talk about on Thursday? Thursday's episode of the grad program, we talked about the psychology of control. What you guys need to understand is the reason that these California scumbags are never going to let this go is because it has nothing to do with crime or terrorism or domestic violence or whatever. And it has absolutely everything to do with controlling the people. You see, when you convince people that their rights aren't actually rights, but privileges that you are allowed to disseminate as you see fit, you control them. And that is something that they will never, ever, ever willingly relinquish or give up. It's just like the magazine ban. So the judge says I love the Second Amendment Foundation and the CRKB, Citizens' Right to Keep and Bear Arms. I love those guys, and they're doing good things. But here's the deal: when you're dealing with evil, corrupt regimes, and that is what is in California, is an evil, corrupt political machine. It doesn't matter what the judge says. They're not going to obey. And what I was going to say earlier, Jared, is you know what this reminds me of? Brexit.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. Remember? So the people of England, merry old England, it's not the merry old England, it's the United... Shut up. Whatever. You're a slave. So the slaves, the tax slaves in merry old England, they get all ginned up and they're like, hey, this whole European Union thing is killing our country. Duh. It's socialism. That's what the European Union is. It's socialism. So what do? They start a letter writing campaign, man, and they get on and they're like, we're going to vote. And they did. And they're like, we voted unilaterally to leave the European Union. And the government said, okay, well, whatever. Well, no, we just decided, well, okay. Yeah, you did. But that doesn't mean it's going to happen. What? No, but, and remember, we reported on this for years. They're like, well, the government says it's working on formulating a plan and an exit strategy. And what are you talking about? Just send the EU a letter that says, dear EU, fornicate in a different direction. Love UK and move on with your lives. No, it's just not that easy, Paul. Why is it not that easy? It's the same thing that's going on here in California. They're like, well, the judge said, they examined it. They said the law violates the supreme law of the land, Supremacy Clause, Constitution, Bill of Rights, can't do it. And so what do the elitists come out and say? Well, okay, but we're just going to keep doing whatever we want to do. What? Jared, I got a question for you. So if you are brought up on charges and you go before the judge and the judge says, all right, Jared, I'm ordering you to do this. Can you as a citizen say, you know what? No. I just changed. That's nice that you said that, but I'm going to leave and I'm going to ignore you. And I'm just not going to do that.
Only if they give you a 30-day stay.
And you say, no, if you do that, the judge will send like deputies and they'll like come find you and take your property and stuff. They'll make you obey. But if you're a liberal Democrat scumbag piece of human filth in California, you're just like, oh, well, okay. The judge said, but we don't care. What did we talk? Was it Friday or Thursday?
I'm kind of amazed that that Riren Yi actually spent the entire he fulfilled the entire 5 years. I didn't expect that.
5 whole years.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to.
For 5 years for like selling 3 joints. That dude, he has like multiple felonies.
Yeah,
multiple felonies.
But I totally expected him to like do half the sentence and then get released.
Well, remember we followed up and he was up for probation or something. But anyway, so yeah, it is amazing to me and I guess you can't really fault him, Jared, because in California, they've decided that they are the ruling class and no one's going to stop them. And every time the people have tried to stop them, they've either just ignored it or remember the whole like breakaway republic thing. They're like, we're going to secede or date these counties and blah, blah. How'd that work out? Well, it didn't. Oh, okay.
The people that were leading it realized that it was impossible. So they're like, okay, we're going to move to a different state.
Never
suck it.
We're going to go.
We haven't talked about this story yet, but you kind of did, but we didn't read the story. California files appeal after judge overturns decades-old assault weapon ban. So this was published on June 10th, 2021.
So 5 days after.
Yep, 5 days. Which means the appeal happened probably before that. But California on Thursday appealed a judge's ruling that overturned the state's decade-old ban on assault weapons, claiming it was an outlier. to at least 6 other federal court decisions in an attempt to get in front of the conservative-leaning U.S. Supreme Court.
So who did they appeal to?
State Attorney General Rob Bonta filed a 3-page appeal with the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco following U.S. District Judge Roger Bonita's decision last Friday. He argued that the 32-year-old law was needed to protect the safety of Californians.
Oh, God in heaven. God in Himmel.
He will ask the court for a stay so the ban will remain in effect during the appeals process.
Of course.
Benitez ruled that the ban violated the Second Amendment and blah, blah, blah. It goes back to the other story.
So my question...
it does say here, though, this is a new quote.
Okay.
Deprive law-abiding gun owners of common firearms readily available in other states. Quote, under no level of heightened scrutiny can the law survive, end quote.
He said in the decision. And yeah, that's the... So I think it was either Thursday or Friday. I said something along the lines of, what is the Constitution? Is it a group? Is it a bunch of suggestions? Is the Constitution like a cluster of suggestions?
It depends on who you ask.
Like what? No, it's not. It is there's this thing called the Supremacy Clause. What is the Supremacy Clause? It means that no city or state or county or municipality within the borders of the United States can create law that circumvents or nullifies the Constitution. All right. First Amendment, right? Freedom of the press and the freedom of speech and the freedom to peaceably assemble to redress grievances unless the government decides they don't want you to. But so can a state come up with a freedom of the press or a speech tax or a speech license? Well, you're allowed to speak your mind after you get this license from the state and pay a fee and go through a background check. And so you're like, no, that'd be crazy, Paul. You can't do that. It directly violates the Constitution. So the Constitution is a law, right? So for we peasants, if we peasants circumvent, go around, or violate a law, what happens to us, we peasants? Well, what do you mean? If you break the law, well, then they file charges against you, and then they send the man out to find you, and then they put you in handcuffs, and they haul you before a judge, and you have to have a trial. And okay, because we peasants violated the law. Yeah. So when elected scumbag pieces of human filth in California directly violate the law, because that's what the Constitution is, where do they get charged? Who charges Ron Bogota here and Gavin Newsom with violating the law? No one, Paul, because the government is allowed to violate the law. Only the peasants aren't allowed. Oh, got it. That I forgot. In the representative republic that is the United States, laws only apply to the peasantry. And as soon as you become part of the ruling class, the laws no longer apply to you. Oh, crap. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. This is the last thing I'm going to say. Does DPMS, have you seen the
I was just about to.
BB guns? Yes, we have. Apparently, they're a lot of fun. My question to the slaves living inside of the borders of California is, why do you feel the need to beg the court to overturn a law that violates, or a policy? And that's what I really like, how Benitez referred to this as the government instituting their own policy in direct violation of the law. Why are you begging the courts for your constitutional rights? Is that how the country was established? And so if you have to beg the courts for your constitutional rights, and then you have criminals like this Ron Bogota guy here in California who say, well, all right, I know the judge said this is unconstitutional, but we don't care. And we're just going to keep doing what we want anyway. Where does that leave you, the citizen? Well, I guess it just leaves you where you've been for 30, 40 years, just being a tax slave and doing what you're told. There you go. If only we could have gone back 240 years and come up with a mechanism where the citizens would have the authority to actually be in charge and the government worked for them. I wish we would have done something like that. Wish we would have set something up like that where the government had to work for the citizens and be accountable to them. Oh, well, maybe next.
One last question. It says, if you could buy only one pellet gun, what would it be?
Me?
Yes.
I'm not really like that in love with any pellet gun. There's a company called Benjamin that's been around for a long, long time that makes pneumatic pellet guns. Benjamin pellet gun. Crossman purchased Benjamin a long time ago. And the Benjamin guns from Crossman are actually really well made, very powerful pellet guns. And so
is that the pump ones or is that CO2?
No, it's pneumatic. Yeah, they're not CO2. Well, they make both, actually. Benjamin makes CO2 and they make the pneumatic pump ones. So there you go. I think you can't go wrong. Crossman's a good company. I've had a lot of good success with Crossman products over the last 20 years or so, 30 years, 40, I don't know. But there you have it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Monday. You are welcome, freaks. We gave you bonus material. We just kept going and giving it to you. We gave it to you hard, and you're welcome. So what I'm going to say is on Wednesday, we're going to talk about how an armed school employee stopped a kidnapping. What? Nobody had told me about that. Yeah, because it's actually good news, and we don't want to talk about positive things. When people with guns do good things, we just ignore it. We'll talk about it. All right, but we're going to talk about it on Wednesday, and then, of course, all the other good stuff that we always do. Until then, remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.
Or whoever was that thing that you just sent like a today thing?
Yeah, like in 15 minutes.
Fudge.
Dad, check your Slack.
Okay.
All right.
Zach, does that affect you?
I was going to ask you guys if we could record Wednesday another day. Because I was just informed by Ready Man's favorite client.
Are we still live?
Yes. I'm going to name names.
Not do that.
That they need a large order sent out today.
Okay.
So
Can we get him? Is this just an idea, or is this something?
No, it's I'm already on the thing.
You're on it?
Yeah, so we could I could record from my end, and Zach, you can go do the office thing.
yeah, I'm sorry.
What do you
but,
think?
Like while we were recording, he freaking texted me.
Well, we already have pre-scheduled things that we're supposed to be doing right now, so it's really up to Dad.
All right. So is he available for a phone interview?
Yeah, at 10:30.
At 10:30 today. All right. So let's do that.
All right.
Let's go ahead and bring him on, and we'll just do like we do. We'll record it, and then Zach can drop the openings in the ending on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
I'm
that gives
really
us
sorry,
17
guys.
minutes. So go ahead. I need to actually take a bathroom break.
I mean, I can chill and we can do it normally if that would be like better, but I'm just asking.
I mean, we can do it either way, Zach.
Jared, would it be better if we did it live like regular?
I don't think it really matters for this. It'll be topical next week.
Okay. Okay. So then I'll go ahead and cut the recording and the stream. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Guess what, guys?
What?
You're going to have to tune in next Wednesday for the show. We're going to bring Alex Bosco from SB Tactical on.
Yeah, it's gonna be an awesome interview.